Welcome back, Tiger Timers. Here we are. Today we're talking about my latest list video, and the list today is going to be about the top 5 indie games I think you should play if you haven't. So, when it comes to indie games, you think cheaper, maybe not as much quality. If you think that way, then you haven't played the right indie games. And this was on my mind because I've been thinking about, well, game prices are rising. And AAA quality is dropping. Somehow this are happening together, but whether they're terribly optimized or have poor writing, we need to start looking elsewhere, potentially, if games are going to be $80, $90, $100 and somehow getting worse at times. So where else to look but indie games? So that got me thinking about this. So here's my list. And I want to be clear, this isn't my list of the best indie games I've ever played. This is a list of the indie games that I think you should play because of the impact that they had on me, or how they rekindled my interest in gaming at a time when I wasn't quite connecting with anything. So let's go. We're gonna start it off with Dredge. So if you haven't played Dredge, you gotta get into it. You gotta go for it. I love Dredge. Came out 2 years ago. I grew up by the sea. I grew up around boats. I had my own boat at one point. A little Tiger Time lore for anyone who's interested. I was set up to be a fisherman. I had the boat. I had all the gear. I sold it, but it was there in front of me. And I decided not to, but it still has a warm place in my heart. My hometown, the ocean, the smell of the ocean, everything about it. I love the ocean. And this game, more than almost any other I've captured, Wind Waker 2, actually, captured that feeling of the ocean and how beautiful and peaceful it is. And just like the Wind Waker, the soundtrack you hear when you're out on the ocean in Dredge really sounds like the soundtrack that would be on the ocean. In Dredge, it takes a different tone. In the Wind Waker, it's very, we've got an adventure, we're going on a quest. In Dredge, there's something creepy. There's a sort of ominous looming sort of thing happening around us right now. So yeah, in Dredge, you're a fisherman, you've taken a local job, you go to the islands, and you start fishing. And you start to realize things are weird, things are Lovecraftian. And they do something that I love too, which is have a little creepy area or some area you can't access towards the beginning of the game. They have a little island with a mansion on it, and it's just creepy, it's looming. Every time you go fishing on an expedition, you're thinking about that island, and I just love this game. They really captured the ocean really well, and on top of all of that, they did one of my favorite things, which is to capture that balance between happy sort of beauty and creepiness. Dredge is very creepy. It talks about that feeling, sort of a thalassophobia feeling, that people have when they're on the ocean and they're looking down and they're thinking about, what the heck's under there? Is something gonna come up and just grab me? You know, I've seen whales breach, I've seen sharks, I've seen a bunch of stuff out there, but there's still that thing in the back of my head, and Dredge plays with that so well. So give that one a shot. Alright, next up on our list, Bug Snacks. SNAX. This is sort of a mystery game. You're trying to find someone who's missing. And you're bugs. You're on an island. And it sort of captures a great tone, just like Dredge too. It walks that line between there's something wrong here, but rather with Bug Snacks, it's the characters, not the environment. And in Bug Snacks, it's sort of a mix between, there's a little bit of Pokemon aspects, there's some crafting, there's some Monster Hunter, there's a little bit of all of that stuff. And on top of all of that, just interesting writing, interesting characters, and creepiness. When you're walking around those villages, to me, it felt like I was watching them, the villagers, watching me walk. waiting for a moment when I'd ask the wrong question or turn my back at the wrong time. And they did so well to make me feel so uncomfortable. Especially what I love is how the art style contrasts with the tone of the game. So this one's awesome, you should give it a shot. The gameplay isn't too innovative or interesting, anything like that, but it is at least interesting enough and addictive, and it's just fun, and there's some weird body horror stuff. You get really weird in this game. So it's cool. I'd recommend it. It's usually $25.99, but you could find it on a sale in the single digits for sure. So give that one a look. Bug Snacks. Alright, next up, a classic. One of my all-time favorites. I feel like I find a way to put this game into every video. There's a few of them. Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, some Dark Souls game or Skyrim, and Stardew Valley. So Stardew Valley's the game. If you know me, you know I love it. And I want to be clear with this one too. I'm not a cozy gamer. I'm no cozy gamer. The only other cozy gaming series I'd played prior to Stardew Valley was Animal Crossing, which I did like quite a bit. But if you haven't played it, just play it. It is awesome. If there's some romance, some friendship you're looking to rekindle, you want to light that fire again, play Stardew Valley. It's the chillest, coolest game. You can find a wizard. You can go into a weird little sewer area and discover something about the person in there. You can go mining and fight monsters. You can fish. There are seasons. You can help out the villagers. You can build romances and have relationships. And you can craft your own farm. And you can have a cat. You can have a cat! It's awesome. In the next game, not necessarily in the series because it's not really a series. It's called The Haunted Chocolatier. It's just the next game by that developer is coming out either next year or the year after. And it's a good time to get in because of that, I think. And he's still updating it to this day. It's just an awesome game. Just a freaking blast. It's just so cozy. I was playing with my cousin and the amount of times we'd find ourselves just saying, it's raining today. Well, that means we have time to go fish or go mine. And it was just the coziest feeling. Or maybe we'd wake up the next day and find out, okay, it's sunny out, we have to water all of our plants. And then we'll head into town, maybe we'll buy some stuff, sell some stuff, build our romance up. It is just the best. I love the game so much. The loop is so good. Amazing game. It's a well-played one, but you have to play it if you haven't. Alright. Next up, an oldie but a goodie. Just a classic one. I don't have a lot to say about it. I just feel like this game isn't talked about anymore, but it had a good run back in the day. Castle Crashers. One of the first games I played on the Xbox Arcade, which had some awesome games on there. Some awesome indie games. This one's great. It's just a fun co-op experience. It's funny. You'll find yourself saying, why is that deer pooping itself across my screen? It's a great time. You can collect animals that give you certain attributes. You can have up to 4 players, and the boss fights are fun and interesting. The combat's interesting. It's pretty diverse. You can have certain various magic, bow, sword, different types of melee weapon builds. It's just cool and fun, and it is interesting enough that you feel like you can be really different from the person you're playing with. And there are so many different characters and stuff, and I love Castle Crashers. Just a good old arcade, action-adventure style, sort of beat 'em up. Give that one a look if you haven't. It's such a goodie. And now the last one on my list, we're going to round it out. We're going to do it. We're going to round it out with Undertale. So, this is going to trigger some of you, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. I didn't love this game, but hear me out. When it comes to Undertale, love what it did for gaming and what it represents. It brought back that Earthbound kind of Pokemon style text box graphics, weird what is going on style of 2D gameplay. And I love that, and I love that it got people interested in indie games. That game blew up. It had such a big moment. And I love that about it. I personally love how it walks that line, like I was talking about earlier, between dark and happy. You can't trust anyone in that game, and they're all great characters. They're sort of Zelda-style characters. They're trippy. And I just love what it did for gaming more than anything else. For me, the gameplay loop got a little boring, and I didn't love all of the UI and everything. It wasn't my favorite game, but this is the list of games you should play. And Undertale is absolutely a game everyone should play. So that's it. That's my list, folks. Thanks for tuning in. It was fun to make this one. I like making list videos, and this particular one I think will be pertinent perhaps because of how game prices are rising and AAA developers keep dropping the ball. And not all of us want to spend $20 on Game Pass a month, you know? So it's important to look at these other games and to support smaller developers. And there are a few that I didn't even mention that definitely should have made it on. You have Ori and the Blind Forest, Hollow Knight, love my platformers. Plants vs. Zombies, another classic for me. But anyway, thanks for watching. It was fun to make this video, and I hope you end up playing one of these, and I hope I pointed you in the right direction. Thanks for watching, guys.